Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and welcome back to another battle in Medieval Kingdoms 1212 AD. This battle is a continuation of the three-part series titled The Road to Antioch. If you haven't seen the first battle, I will leave a link to it in the description down below, but here's a quick update as to what happened. It was a tragic day for the forces of Christendom. The army of Cilicia had been wiped out, and Antioch was broken and scattered. Saladin had lost many good men in the fight, but the ambush was a resounding success. Now, the Prince of Antioch must gather what men he can and continue towards Antioch. Messengers were dispatched to Jerusalem, relaying the events of the battle and asking for reinforcements immediately. The Muslim forces pursued the prince for miles. Finally, the Crusaders could flee no longer. The prince positioned his men on a hilltop overlooking a river. His only hope was to hold out long enough for reinforcements to arrive. The first army we have on the battlefield today is the meager remains of the army of Antioch, commanded by myself. So this is all that remains of the once great army of Antioch, totaling over 6,500 warriors, and it has been drastically reduced in size. But the prince has managed to gather a pretty good following and is holed up on this hilltop, waiting for the reinforcements from Jerusalem to arrive. So let's take a look at what he has brought to the battlefield. He has 2 units here of the Crusader Marksmen, and then we also have 2 units of Hospitaller Crossbow Sergeants, so it's good to see that he did manage to get some crossbows. He has 5 units of Spearmen, 3 of the units are Crusader Sergeants, and then 3 of them are the Hospitaller Sergeant Spearmen. Unfortunately, though, only 2 units of the Dismounted Crusader Knights managed to survive, so that was all that remains. We only have 1 unit of the Heavy Armenian Auxiliaries and 1 unit of the Georgian Swordsmen over here. If you guys remember from that ambush battle, the Armenian Auxiliaries and Georgian Swordsmen, they made up the first battle line, the first line of defense for the prince's army, and the Muslim warriors absolutely slaughtered them, so barely any of them managed to escape that battlefield alive, so it's reflected here with only 1 unit of each. The same kind of goes for the Templar Knights. We do not have any Templar Knights here on this battlefield, or at least not in the army of Antioch. We have a unit of Antiochian Knights, a unit of Hospitaller Knights, and the Prince of Antioch himself here. Now, the Templar Knights were present in that ambush battle, and they were instrumental in eliminating that artillery that the Muslims had set up to bombard them. They eliminated it quite early and saved a lot of lives, but unfortunately every single Templar Knight that was on that battlefield sacrificed his life for the greater good, and none of them are represented in the army of Antioch. However, they did manage to scrape together a good amount of these dismounted Antiochian Knights. We've got 4 units of them here guarding the rear, and they may be readjusted accordingly, depending on where the Muslims decide to form up and assault from. But that pretty much rounds out all of the Prince of Antioch's forces, so a shadow of its former self, but still enough to put up some kind of a defense. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next army. The second army on the battlefield today is the Kingdom of Jerusalem, commanded by Nubnath. And yes, the Kingdom of Jerusalem has answered the call to arms from the Principality of Antioch, and they have gathered a massive host of warriors to relieve the prince and his beleaguered men atop that hill. So let's take a look at what Nath has brought to the battlefield. A beautiful formation, just shows the professionalism of the Kingdom of Jerusalem and their Crusader warriors. In the front lines, we have 5 units of the dismounted Crusader Knights. Right behind that, we have 4 units of the Crusader Sergeants. Behind that, we have 5 units of Crusader Marksmen in lines of 2 and 1. We've got 2 here, and we have 2 here, and 1 at the back. We also have about 3 units of the dismounted Templar Knights, and there is a very large presence of Templars in this army comp. The reason being is because they heard the news of the battle, and that every single Templar warrior that was in the army of Antioch gave their lives in the defense of the remaining Antioch forces, and that has really rallied the Templars together, and they have come out in full force. You can see we have several hundred of the dismounted Templar Knights here. We also have 3 units of Order Swordsmen here as well. And then we have the Grand Master himself, again, ready to seek retribution for his fallen men in that ambush battle. We also have 2 units of the Mounted Templar Knights, and then 1 unit of the Crusader, I think they're just Crusader Knights bringing up the rear. And that is it for this very formidable force of the Kingdom of Jerusalem. So let's go ahead and take a look at the final army on the battlefield. The final army on the battlefield today is, of course, the Ayyubid Sultanate commanded by Azarian Fox. We have Saladin and several thousand warriors in pursuit of the Prince of Antioch and his men. To allow the prince to return to his fair city will greatly strengthen its defense and make it harder for Saladin and his forces to take it when his main army does arrive. Now, this is not the full army of Saladin. Most of his army is still well a ways away, but this is the amount of men that he feels necessary to take out the prince and the remainder of the soldiers of Antioch. So let's take a look at what he has brought to the battlefield. Again, very heavy on the cavalry focus, but a lot of good infantry as well. In the front lines, he has 2 units of the Askari cavalry. We've also got a few units of the Bedouin camel riders. Right behind that, we have 3 units of Ayyubid Askari nobles. And then we have 4 units of the Khwarezmian horse archers, the Khwarezmian cavalry. Over here, we have Saladin himself leading his army of infantry. So there he is in the front lines there with his golden shield, victorious in that last battle. And then we have, I believe, 5 or 6 units here of the Harafisha infantry. Pretty garbage infantry, but good first-line infantry. Can really soak up the enemy arrows and then move in with more elite infantry after that. We have, I believe, 6 units of the June Spearmen here, moving forwards in a perfect column formation. Right behind that, we have the dismounted Askari nobles. These guys look absolutely amazing. One of the nicest Muslim infantry units, I think, in the game. Really professional. Love the shields, too. Very cool. So he has 6 units of them. That is pretty much the backbone of the Ayyubid army. And then back here we have a couple units of the Sudanese archers. We have 3 units of the Mamluk Tabateria and 3 units of the Ayyubid crossbowmen. And Saladin wants to make sure that he gets to that hilltop and kills any of the Antioch warriors on that hill before the Kingdom of Jerusalem arrives. If the Kingdom of Jerusalem arrives, then all hope is lost, and Saladin will have to retreat across the river and join his main army, and just allow the Prince of Antioch to make it back to the city. So let's go ahead and get to the battlefield. Alright guys, welcome to the battlefield, and as you can see, we have the emissary of Saladin arriving at the base of the hill to offer terms to the Prince of Antioch. And his terms are actually quite simple. He will allow the soldiers of Antioch to leave the hill unharmed and return home. All Saladin wants is the prince to give himself up. So will the prince decide to give himself up? No, he will not. As you can see, he has refused the terms and is returning to his men to prepare them for battle. And now the emissary will return to Saladin to deliver the news. The news that the prince has refused the terms and is readying himself for battle. I'm sure Saladin would rather have avoided this battle altogether. The Crusaders are once again in an entrenched position atop that hill, so it's going to be a very difficult battle for him, but he has over 5,000 warriors, and I believe Antioch has about 2,000, so they are definitely outnumbered. He's just against the... He's against the time, basically, because scouts have reported that the Kingdom of Jerusalem and their army is very close by, so he will only have a few hours to conquer this hilltop before Jerusalem arrives. Let's go ahead and jump out here and take a look at the army as a whole as it is forming up. A pretty terrifying sight to behold, if I do say so myself. And I believe we will start with the Harafisha infantry here. They're the cheapest infantry that Saladin does have, and it will allow him to establish kind of a beachhead, allow the Crusaders to focus their shots on the Harafisha infantry, and then follow it up with the more elite dismounted Askari nobles afterwards. Let's go ahead and see from the top of the hill how things are looking. Very quiet and very dismal. Actually, that is an awesome shot, too, an awesome screenshot. You can see them holding up on the hilltop. But we've already got the Crusader marksmen firing down onto the Harafisha infantry. You can see that their higher position has allowed them to actually fire quite far down the hill. And I believe they will get quite a few kills on this cheap infantry. I think that their armor is actually quite low if we take a look at it. So Harafish infantry, armor is 25, which isn't bad. Missile block is actually 52, and that would be even better once they get into shield wall. So actually, maybe they're not as garbage as I thought. I mean, they are very light melee infantry, so they're not going to be able to stand up against the Crusader Sergeants and the dismounted Crusader Knights. But they are a very good first unit to push into the battle. But a massive hilltop. When we take a look from their side of things, you can see that they have quite a large hill to climb. We do have, I believe these are the Sudanese archers, though, firing back at the Crusader Sergeants. And let's actually get into one of these units here so we can see their march up the hilltop. And with the other units as well. And this is loyalty. This is loyalty to their Sultan. Moving up this hilltop, they know that most of them will be slain or possibly captured. They are the sacrificial lamb, as it were. But there we go, the archers have pulled back to a safe position and are allowing the Crusader Sergeants to make themselves known. And that is a pretty awesome sight to see, too. The Hospitaller Crusader Sergeants holding the hilltop. You can see the regular Crusader Sergeants or see the regular spearmen holding on that flank, but here we go. We've got a charge from the Harafish infantry. Very slow charge moving up the hill, though. The Hospitaller Sergeants are in shield wall. They will be able to stop the brunt of this attack, though. And the battle has officially begun. There we go. More Harafish infantry moving in. Attacking the Crusader Sergeants over there, and we will be moving in the Crusader Knights shortly, but not yet. Not just yet. Let's go ahead and jump out and take a look at the formation. I think you did see it pretty well in the army comps, but the hill is actually you're able to assault the hill from all of the sides except for this rocky outcrop here. So that's why I do have some of my dismounted Antioch Knights guarding the back of this formation, but it looks like mostly they're only committing on this front part for now. And there's not actually too many men on the battlefield, so the frames will actually be quite good and enjoyable for this siege, or sorry, for this land battle. It's kind of a siege on a hilltop. There we go. I believe we do have the heavy Armenian auxiliaries tasked with holding this side of the hill along with the Crusader Sergeants. And then over here we do have the Georgian swordsmen, but they may be redeployed to this far side. Also, we do have some fire arrows here from the Crusader marksmen. You can see we do have some of the Khwarezmian cavalry there, the horse archers. They have surrounded the hilltop here, and we've actually got some more of the cavalry moving in as well, which could be quite worrisome. But the fire arrows do extra damage to the cavalry, so that's why I was using the fire ammo to try and pick apart these horse archers. And actually, it looks like we're doing a pretty good job. These Khwarezmian cavalry are really trash. They are not very good. As you can see, they've already lost 20 men in the unit, and they've got 0 kills. This one, 0 kills. 2 kills on that one, and 6 on that. That's actually pretty impressive. But yeah, we have driven them away, and it looks like the first line, the Harafish infantry, are being driven back down the hill. But this has allowed the Thakla Axemen to move up the slopes with no damage whatsoever. Unfortunately for me, my Hospitaller Sergeants and my Hospitaller Crossbow Sergeants and my Crusader Marksmen, I tried to fire on them with my crossbows, but they were obstructed due to my own men being in front of them. So the Thakla Axemen are able to get up this hilltop without losing any men to my crossbows. Zip across the battle line here so you can see it forming. And there we go, Crusader Knights moving in and actually past the spearmen and pushing the Thakla Axemen back down the hill. Some of the Harafish infantry have actually returned to the battlefield as well, so they could be pushed back into the mix. Yes, there they go. So they're going to move in to support the axes in melee against the Crusader Sergeants. I love the different colorings in this Crusader unit too. You can see some with red, so they have the English colors. We have the blue for the French colors. And we have this purple here too. I'm not sure if that represents like a Byzantine character or not. Not exactly sure, but we've got white too, so kind of Templar colors. We've got the yellow as well. Very, very colorful units. But let's zoom out and see what else is going on the battlefield. I think we have some more units moving over here as well. Yeah, this is again the Harafish infantry moving in. There we go, some good volleys onto this cavalry as they move around the slopes. Again, really trying to focus them down, because if we can eliminate their cavalry superiority, that will only help Jerusalem later on in the battlefield. Of course, we only have 2 units of cavalry to our name, so it's not like we're going to be able to do much against Saladin's forces. You can see that he has 4 units of cavalry, 5 including himself, down protecting his infantry. He has 3 kind of moving around this hilltop, which made me very glad that I actually put some units here to hold. And then, of course, we do have the 4 units of horse archers kind of just looking for targets here and there. But there we go, another good volley, and I think he is actually going to move up and try and charge these Hospitaller Sergeant Spearmen. There we go, huge hit there, my goodness. Massive hit, even though they were in shield wall, and now the Georgian swordsmen are probably going to have to be in melee. But here we go, a counter charge from the Hospitaller Knights, sallying from the hilltop and getting a good side charge into, I believe these are the Hiscari nobles? Yes, they are. So that was an excellent charge there. You can see that they're already wavering from that huge hit from the Hospitaller Knights, but another huge charge from the Hiscari nobles into the Crusader Sergeant Spearmen. And absolute chaos here. And this made me really glad that I had some units there. Oh, another charge just running right through, throwing units to the side, and now they're actually going to get into some of my marksmen, which is really frustrating. Able to power right through. There we go, though, some huge volleys from the Crusader marksmen, really depleting the Hiscari nobles there. However, I did lose my Hospitaller Sergeant Spearmen unit. They definitely held for as long as they could, but now they have routed from the battlefield. This unit did steady, which is a little bit annoying, but the other unit is chasing my unit over here. I had my Antioch Knights, I broke them free, and I'm going after the Khwarezmian cavalry, the horse archers, and I think I do manage to actually ignore the Hiscari nobles and just drive off these Khwarezmian archers. I'm not even sure if I follow it through and actually get a good charge. Yeah, I do. There we go, catching a lot of them in melee, which is really good to see. So we actually have a fight below the hilltop as well as on the hilltop. I'm not sure if Saladin is going to move forwards. No, he's going to allow his Hiscari nobles to deal with the Antioch Knights. So yeah, maybe kind of a throwaway here. I probably shouldn't have done this, but just to drive those horse archers away, because I cannot afford to lose any lives on that hilltop. I'm already outnumbered as it is. I cannot afford to have these horse archers just sit back and skirmish me down. We've got some June Spearmen, I believe, charging in. Or is that June Spearmen? Let me check. Where are they? Yeah, June Spearmen here. But how are things looking on the hilltop? Let's take a look at what has gone on so far. So we've driven the Thakalaxmen pretty much back down the hill. You can see, I think on this side we did win pretty considerably. Now I think this unit moving down the heavy Armenian auxiliaries was a bit of a mistake. They should have stayed on the hilltop, but instead they're moving back down the hill. And yeah, there we go. The Prince has called back that unit to the hilltop. As I said, he needs every available unit that he can get. Also over here we've got some of the dismounted Crusader Knights forming up a little bit down the hill, and we've got the depleted units, the Hospitaller Sergeant Spearmen and the Crusader Knights, still holding strong in the face of all these Sudanese archers that are just volleying them down. We've also got another unit of dismounted Antioch Knights. You can see I've thinned my ranks back here, just putting, I believe this is the Georgian swordsman, and I've got 2 units of Antioch Knights here, and I've got 2 that I've moved to the front. And I believe this unit was victorious. Yeah, the Hospitaller Knights doing really well there on defending that flank, and the heavy Armenian auxiliaries are going to return. But we have a desperate charge here. We're at a very brave charge from the Prince of Antioch here, getting right into the Sudanese archers, causing huge trouble for Saladin. They were definitely not expecting this, and he is just running right across here, destroying 3 units of Sudanese archers. If you take take a look as I turn on the UI. Did major damage. I think it shattered this unit. No. It broke this unit, broke that unit, and this unit is wavering. And now we've got some units coming to the defense of the Prince. You can see some of the dismounted Crusader Knights are coming down the slopes, challenging the Ascari cavalry in melee, but the Prince of Antioch is not looking too hot now. Actually, I would love to see where he is if I could just get this slow motion camera on really quickly, and maybe we could see exactly where he is. He's pretty easy to pick out. I'm kind of curious to see whereabouts he is. He shouldn't be over here, I don't think. None of the unit is over here. It's mostly over here. You guys may have seen him already. Where are you, Prince? Or he might be in behind this tree. But very brave thing to do there. That probably saved a lot of lives driving off those Sudanese archers like that. Let's go ahead and put it on play. I don't see him, so I'm not sure if maybe he's caught somewhere else over here, or... But yeah, he is starting to waver. It is not looking too good. We've got some more Crusader Sergeants coming down the slopes here. And I believe that we do have, yes, we do have the Kingdom of Jerusalem finally making it to the battlefield here. And you can see actually that some of the Muslim cavalry got a solid charge onto the dismounted Crusader Knights, but they were able to drive them off. Look at this force that has arrived from the Kingdom of Jerusalem. I'd love to have some like Kingdom of Heaven music right now as they just move across the battlefield, but unfortunately that would get me copyrighted. I do hope they fix the music issue in 12.12 though, because I really love the music that they have, but then there it goes, it kicks back in. Perfect. That looks a little more epic. You can see all the Templar units moving into position, the Grand Master eager to see some revenge for his fallen brethren. Crusader Knights forming up as well. Yes, I believe we do have the Khwarezmian cavalry starting to focus these units down, while the Sultan still tries to get a handle on this hilltop. And yes, the Prince did return to the battlefield. Luckily, he did survive, but only with a few units of his, or a few men in his retinue left. You can see he is right here with, I believe, 6 of his men still remaining. So an extremely daring thing for him to do. So whatever you did think about him fleeing from the battlefield in the previous episode or the previous battle, that was a very brave thing to do for his men. However, if he really cared about his men too, he could have just given himself up and allowed his men to run free and return to Antioch. But at the same time, can you trust Saladin? At the same time, you don't really know. And maybe he was thinking more about the greater good and the fact that he would need to be in the defense of Antioch. It would be instrumental in the defense of Antioch to have the Prince there, and also a huge morale debuff, I would assume, for the Prince to have been killed by Saladin. So maybe instead of thinking of his men, he had to make a tough decision and think about the kingdom as a whole. But here we go, Jerusalem is formed up and ready. You can see that their ranks are just shimmering on the battlefield here. We've got the Templar Knights coming over to the flanks here as well. Very, very awesome unit. And let's actually follow them, because it looks like they actually are ready to move in. They're moving in. They're not even waiting for the infantry. Or maybe maybe they're just forming up on the hilltop. I can see some cavalry moving on the other side as well, though. And here we go, actually. It looks like we have the activation of the Muslim cavalry. And the Templar Knights, are they going to charge in? Oh, yes, they are. Come on, boys. Get a good charge. You can see the camels actually moving into melee over against the other unit of Templar Knights. Huge volley there from the archers, the Crusader marksmen, and then the Templar Knights just following in. That was a lot of friendly fire, though. That kind of hurt to watch. Oh no, we've got a couple of them glitching. I think that's something to do with the Khwarezmian horse archers. When some of them die, they seem to glitch on the battlefield like that. But that was actually very effective. Down to basically one full unit. This one shattered here, and this one may shatter soon enough as well. Well, let's take a look at the Bedouin camel riders here, and actually we're going to get a nice charge from those knights into the backs of the Bedouin camel riders, and that will surely see them off this battlefield. Look at that, they're already cheering too, probably because they have already broken. Now, is there more units coming in? I'm not sure if the Khwarezmian cavalry is going to actually countercharge. I doubt they're going to get many kills on that, though. Oh, yeah, Crusader Marksman again volleying into the Khwarezmian cavalry, but getting a lot of friendly fire on their own units. Ooh, that's not what I want to see. Be careful, marksman. And this is the point where Saladin realizes that it's disadvantageous to be in this open ground, and he is actually withdrawing back across the river. So it looks like Jerusalem has actually saved the Prince of Antioch and his men. You can see that this is what remains of the army of Antioch. It is quite depleted, as you can see. I mean, even more so depleted than it was before. Many men of Antioch still lie on the battlefield, but many more of the Sultan's forces lie on this battlefield as well. And at this point, the Prince of Antioch commands that his men leave the hilltop and join up with the Kingdom of Jerusalem. You can see the Kingdom of Jerusalem is slowly moving forwards and allowing Saladin to move across the hill. And if he does leave the battlefield, then that will be it. But if he does form up for a defense, then they will have to continue this battle. So we're going to make a little bit of a cut here, guys, and we're going to bring it back to you once Saladin has made his defense across the river. Alright guys, welcome back, and as you can see, we have the forces of Antioch actually engaging the Ayyubids across the river, and we have the Prince of Antioch himself. He has been wounded, he is bloodied up, but he is on his horse still, and he is offering a huge morale buff to his men from this hilltop. Obviously, he does have to stay out of battle here. His men have been... well, his unit has been pretty much annihilated. It's just him and, as I said, 6 men, and as I said, he is wounded, pretty bloodied up, but his men will continue the fight from here. You can see that they are formed up and attacking the Ayyubids across the river. The Kingdom of Jerusalem is a little slower to show up, but they will be attacking the far river crossing, and all Saladin can do now is defend. And he is heavily outnumbered now that the Kingdom of Jerusalem has shown up to save the Prince of Antioch and his men. If it was just the Principality of Antioch, then they would have lost to the overwhelming numbers. Eventually, Saladin's men would have broken the fortified position of the Crusaders of Antioch, and then it would have been all over. But the Kingdom of Jerusalem showed up just in time to save the day. So I do have a few units of... what do I have left here? I've got a Georgian swordsman unit. I've got the heavy Armenian auxiliaries. They are also here. The Crusader marksmen are firing into, I believe, the Ayyubid crossbowmen. Yes, really depleting them very well. And then I've still got a lot of my dismounted Antiochite knights. And of course, I do have my Hospitaller knights as well. But here comes the great army of Jerusalem. And we just need to just forego the commentary for now and just enjoy the Kingdom of Jerusalem marching forwards. Such an awesome, awesome sight to see. And of course, all those Templar knights as well. Eager to see the destruction of Saladin. Now, remember though, guys, that this is not the full force that Saladin has for the Siege of Antioch. It's more of the vanguard of his entire army. Some tens of thousands of Muslims answered the call to jihad against Antioch, and only about 5,000 are present in the Sultan's army. But then again, he thought that 5,000 warriors would have been enough to destroy Antioch, and in theory he would have been right, but he did not account for the Kingdom of Jerusalem and their army showing up to the battlefield. There we go, we got some of the Thakla Axemen, I believe. Is this Thakla Axemen or Mamluk Tabdariya? This is the Mamluk Tabdariya moving in, and this is going to be a huge problem for my men. The Georgian swordsmen and heavy Armenian auxiliaries have been activated to stop the Mamluk Tabdariya from crossing the river. And you can see that some of my Hospitaller Crusader sergeants still hold. Oh no! just being cut down by the elite Mamelukes. And has Jerusalem engaged yet? No, they have not. Not quite. And if we look from this position here, you can actually see the prince up on the hilltop there, surveying the entire battlefield. Now, it's anybody's guess why Saladin just didn't withdraw completely. It could have been a pride thing, or it could have been that maybe he still thought he had the advantage holding the strategic points of the river crossings, because then the numbers really don't mean too much. But he didn't really account on all of these skirmishers that the Kingdom of Jerusalem and the Principality of Antioch still had at their command. You have to remember that the Kingdom of Jerusalem hasn't really used any of their bows yet, aside from volleying a couple into the Bedouin camel riders and the Khwarezmian cavalry. So he'll be able to skirmish down the elite units. Oh no, the Mamluk Tabataria, have they broken? Yeah, the Mamluk Tabataria have broken. I mean, 147 kills to their name. But unfortunately, they are fleeing from the battlefield. And that, I think, leaves only 3 more? Yeah, no, 2 more, actually. He has 1 here and 1 here. Well, this is all that remains of the Sultan's forces. Of course, he has a lot of the dismounted Askari's nobles still left. He's got some Askari nobles here in the front lines, but they are being skirmished down by the Crusader marksmen. We've got the 4 units just volley after volley into these poor Muslim warriors. But we've got the June swordsmen holding strong as well. They've got average missile block. Yeah, 50 missile block and 50 for these guys as well, but they will have added bonuses for being in shield wall. But here we go. Finally, we've got 2 units of the Crusader Knights moving into melee against the dismounted Askari nobles. Oh my goodness, it's almost inhumane to continue volleying. And it looks like they're just going to hold there, and the slaughter will continue on this side for the poor Muslim warriors. Careful with that Mamluk Tabataria, though. I'm not sure if he's actually going to charge them through, because if he sits them here, they will surely be peppered down by the Crusader marksmen. Yeah, they are already focusing them down, so they're going to have to charge in very shortly. But let's quickly jump over to the other side and see how things are going. I think I'm committing more and more of my forces to this side. More Antioch Knights joining the fight against the dismounted Askari noble and the June spearmen. Quite a formidable defense as well. These 2 units work really well together to hold the strategic positions like this. And I do have some of my marksmen here. I think they moved into melee. Oh no, they've actually used up all their ammunition, so that is why. But this is pretty much all that Antioch has left. We've got the 4 units of Antioch Knights and the Hospitaller Cavalry, which is up here. They have gone up to see the Prince of Antioch for permission to actually move and engage the enemy across the river. And the Prince is cheering his men on from the safety of this hilltop. But do we have an engagement here from Jerusalem? Yes, we do, finally. Jerusalem has engaged on this flank, and it's adding a lot more pressure to the Muslim ranks because it means they have to spread their army between 2 choke points instead of focusing on 1. The Mamluk Tabataria are engaged in this fight as well, so they will actually make it difficult for the Crusader Knights. However, as I said, that archer fire is just relentless. Mamluk Tabataria only getting 5 kills so far. Dismounted Askari nobles doing pretty well at 28. We got another June swordman and another Askari noble over here ready to move in. And at this point, Antioch is pretty much just sending in all of their forces. You can see their Crusader, their spears, broke and have returned to the battle, but they have not been recommitted to the fight just yet. We have more than enough fighting on this flank right now, but just look at all of the dead in the water here. And some of them definitely bearing the cross, meaning that they are crusaders. Here we go. Looks like that's the heavy Armenian auxiliaries or the Georgian swords. The Georgian swords have broken. Heavy Armenian auxiliaries are still in the mix. Are they? Ah, yes, they're over on this flank, so they're putting pressure on the right flank of the dismounted Ascari nobles. Cavalry waiting for the command of their prince to move into melee. And just look at the Grand Master. How grand is he with his Templar Knights? Wait, that's not him. There he is. There is the man himself. Such a bloodbath over here. A lot of friendly fire, too, from those Crusader marksmen. Yugnath needs to be a little careful there. He's definitely volleying quite a few of his own men, but he's also hitting quite a few of the Muslims as well. And as I said, the Mamluk Tabataria here are a very elite unit, so getting them off the battlefield is a pretty big win for the Crusaders. Oof. Look at that. 3 arrows in this Crusader's back. We've got 2 in this guy's leg, 1 in his back. We've got 1 in his back. Oh, yeah, a lot of the Crusaders at the back here are being killed by friendly fire. And are the Mamluk Tabataria breaking? No, they're holding, but they are so depleted with only 18 kills. That is really tough to see. However, we did have some of the dismounted Crusader Knights actually break, but a fresh unit has been committed to the battle. And over here, I believe the Antioch Knights have been activated, yes. So we're trying to crack this defense, but Saladin is confident that he can hold here. It would be good if the June swordsmen were actually pushed a little bit closer, though, so that they could support the Ascari nobles in melee. Where's the Armenians? Where's the heavy Armenians? Oh, they might have broken. Are they gone from the battlefield? The Georgian swordsmen did return, the brave men that they are. Where are the heavy Armenians? I think they are gone. Oh no! They routed and then came back on the other side of the river. This could be crucial. Ooh, I don't know if I've noticed this unit. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Let's go ahead and zip over to the other side here where the Mamluk Tabataria have just broken with only 25 kills. That is really tough to see. Usually the Mamluk Tabataria get 100 to 200 kills, possibly upwards of 400 kills if used correctly. Unfortunately for Azir and Fox, there's not much else he could do here. As I said, he's heavily outnumbered. We had 6,500 in total versus 5,400, and he did have a lot of cavalry as well. So the Mamluk Tabataria kind of had to be committed early on like that, but unfortunately, they were just mowed down by the Crusader marksmen. And check out this little 1v1 duel here. We got the Blue Crusader. Oh no, he was looking away and then he was cut down. Now let's see how this White Crusader fares here. It's kind of a 3v1 right now. He's being triple teamed. Let's see if he can get a kill. He is far behind the lines of his unit though, so he will probably not escape alive. Come on. Come on, get a kill. You can do it. Now he's going to be poked in the back by the spears. Oh no! Oh my goodness, the power of that man. Using a spear to behead somebody, That is what you call a pro gamer move. I still haven't noticed the heavy Armenian auxiliaries over here, but that's fine. They're actually resting up in that position. And if Azrian had noticed it, he would have sent his Sultan's bodyguard over there to deal a crushing blow. But actually, it looks like he is moving closer. And I'm wondering if that's because we have some of the knights moving forwards here. Ah, yes, we have the Grand Master who has finally rendezvoused with the Prince of Antioch. And now he is going to watch the remainder of the battle from this high position. We've also got some of the Crusader and Templar Knights moving over here. However, instead of sitting back in the relaxing comfort and allowing a lot of the infantry to win the battle, we've got the Hospitaller Knights who have finally been given permission by the Prince of Antioch to enter the battle. So they're going to try and get across the river here, sneaking past the June Swordsmen. I'm not sure if it's going to work or not, but we'll see. And we have the withdrawal of the dismounted Antiochian Knights here. And everyone knows what is coming. We have the Hospitaller Knights trying to get a charge off, but unfortunately, a lot of the unit was blocked in their charge. That was a very bad move on my part. I thought that moving them out of melee like that, I would have been able to charge through them, but that is definitely not the case. And a lot of Hospitaller Knights are going to lose their lives because of that one error. Yeah, not a very good job. And still, I haven't noticed this. I don't even remember if I noticed this the entire battle. That could have been very crucial. Is he moving a unit over there now? Yes, we do have some Mamluk Tabateria over here. And these guys, they are fresh, so they could maybe get a good solid rear charge onto the June Spearmen here. But yeah, the Hospitaller Knights not doing too well, unfortunately. They're not getting good charges off. The spears are cutting them down every time they try to pull out of melee. So it's pretty much disaster for them. They have not fought honorably like they did in the previous parts of the battle, where they were able to when they were able to actually lock up that cavalry in melee, possibly saving the Prince of Antioch himself, because if that extra unit had broken through into the center of the fortified position where the Prince of Antioch was, he could have been assassinated. Still holding strong here, though. And again, the June Spearmen seem to be out of melee. They're not in combat right now. So they should be pushed forwards a little bit further so that they can support the dismounted Ascari nobles in melee. And what do we got coming in here? I think the Ayyubid crossbowmen that have used up a lot of their ammunition, they are going to move forwards. But I think it's looking pretty desperate for the Sultan now. He is probably going to have to call a retreat very shortly. Hospitaller Knights, I think they have managed to do a little bit more damage. They had, what, 115 kills, so now they're up to 130. We do have some more units breaking. Well, finally, the dismounted Ascari nobles have broken from the battlefield. The June Spearmen are close to breaking as well, or wavering. The Mamluk Tabateria again being focused by the relentless volleys of the Crusader marksmen, which have been moved to this flank to deal with them. They're like medieval executioners. There we go, another unit of Ascari nobles coming over here to hold the line. And yeah, I don't know if I even noticed that they returned to the battlefield, so that is definitely unfortunate. Could have made things a little bit easier for me getting that rear charge and breaking this formation. But now we have the Templar Knights moving forwards on this flank. Not a very good charge. That was a pretty weak charge. And yeah, some of the Templar Knights actually being just pulled from their horses by the June Spearmen, especially as they try to retreat here. Thankfully, I do have some of my dismounted Antiochian Knights to protect most of the unit as they do withdraw across the river. But most of the units you see on the other side of the river are actually from the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Most of my units are committed to this fight now. Look at the beard on this guy. That is an awesome beard. Very cool. And are the Templar Knights going to try again? I'm not exactly sure. What do we have over here? Saladin is here. Did he take care of this business? No, he did not. Yeah, he's watching this side. Oh, actually, I'm not sure if he's going to pull through. Yeah, he is going to try and pull through here. Now, this is very risky for him because he could get a rear charge on here and break a lot of my men. But now we have the Templar Knights, which will be moving forwards as well. They will be able to catch him in melee, and he will not be able to retreat. Oh, but actually, he's countercharging here. There he is. He's moved right into melee against the Crusader Spearmen. And he needs to pull out of this battle. He needs to pull out of this fight lest the Templar Knights assassinate him. And then the 3-part series ends in a 2-part series. But it looks like most of the unit is able to withdraw, and a nice charge from the Templar Knights into the June Spearmen. Unfortunately, a lot of the charge was mitigated by my men, but the ones that did get through caused some huge trouble, and now the Templar Knights are free to make it across the river and pursue Saladin. And with that, Antioch has scraped a victory here thanks to their ally, the Kingdom of Jerusalem, and I'm sure the Prince of Antioch is very thankful to be out of the woods. But he's not completely out of the woods. He still has to go and make his city ready for the massive Ayyubid army that is basically on the doorstep of Antioch. Sorry, I was trying to collect my thoughts, but then that massive yell from the Templars threw my line of thinking. But there we go. Looks like we've got more of the Templar Knights being activated to get across the hilltop, or get across the river. And the Sultan obviously did escape the battlefield, but at what cost? We still have some fighting actually over here with the Kingdom of Jerusalem. So they're still holding strong on this flank, which is good to see. And the Sultan is there. I think he is going to just escape the battlefield and rendezvous with the main body of his force and just get to Antioch and begin the siege. So, a little recap for you guys. In the first battle, he wiped out the Kingdom of Cilicia's army, so that is a huge win for him. That means that Cilicia will have no forces present to aid in the siege of Antioch. But then in this battle, he still failed to kill the Prince of Antioch, which was his main mission, and he also failed to prohibit the entire army of Antioch from returning to the city of Antioch. However, it's a small win in the fact that he did manage to deplete the army of Antioch to about 20% of its fighting strength. But I believe that is everything for this battle, guys. And there we go, guys. So maybe the Armenian auxiliaries weren't actually present in the battle. There may have been a very small desync in that, because I don't actually remember that happening during the battle, and there were no end results, so that does kind of tell me that there was a very small desync. But everything else in the battle went exactly according to how it was basically fighting the battle. But I don't remember any major kill counters on any of the units. I think that one of the Templar Knight units did get upwards of 200 kills, and also the Crusader Marksman for the Kingdom of Jerusalem got some pretty solid kills as well. But thank you so much for watching this second battle in the 3-part series, The Road to Antioch, and stay tuned for, I believe, tomorrow, either tomorrow or the next day, Saturday, we will have the Siege of Antioch itself and the conclusion of this 3-part series. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one.